Hi, I'm John, and this is Small Jobs. When you get the miniature out of the package, chances are you're going to have to put parts of it together. In that case, we need to visit glues and fillers. First and foremost, cyanoacrylate, also known as superglue. 1001 uses, now we get to do miniatures with it. You'll probably find that you'll use it for basing some of the other glue needs as we go along. We'll revisit this often. For plastic miniatures, you're going to end up using plastic cement. You may remember the old tube of Testors modeling glue from back in the day when you used to put model cars together. For our purposes, this is generally too thick and a little messy to work with. A better solution would be Testors Masters cement. It's more of a liquid, it has a precision applicator, and easier to work with. For some miniatures, I find that the liquid cement is also extremely useful. This stuff is kind of tricky to work with, a bit messier, but does the job. Then we're going to talk about white glue, otherwise known as PVA. Various brands, but my particular favorite is Eileen's. It tends to be a little thicker than some of the other PVA or white glues out there. Primarily going to use it for basing, but you'll probably find other uses for it. 5-minute epoxy. Usually 2 parts. You mix them in equal portions on a scrap piece of cardboard, and once you start mixing it, you've got about 5 minutes to work with it. This comes in handy because it is a thicker bodied glue and will actually have some substance to it. I've used it to build up the bases on miniatures, give me some thickness, but it's also good for bonding resin parts together because epoxy resins are epoxy, and so this works well with those. Now on to fillers. Testors also makes a tube of modeling putty for plastics. I've used this quite a bit. It works as a putty would, a little bit of shrinkage, but usable. Recently I've discovered Vallejo's plastic putty. This stuff is fantastic. It's really smooth, doesn't separate as the Testors might, and dries rock hard. Now we go on to epoxy putties. Plumbers have been using this stuff for ages. It's basically 2 parts, you mix them together, they turn green. That's why miniature modelers refer to it as green stuff. If you've seen any of the original miniatures before they go into casting, they're green. That's because they're made with this stuff. That's why they're also called greens. Generally has about a 24-hour dry time or cure time, give or take. You can speed that up by heating it. We'll use this on occasion. It's very handy for doing modeling, sculpting. If you want to add something to your miniature, you can do it in green stuff. There's also another company called Procreate, and they make a epoxy putty. Comes in 2 parts. Very similar. It comes in a black part and a white part. You mix them together and they're gray. What's nice is they actually include instructions to vary the amounts to give you a different consistency. If you want a harder finished putty or a softer finished putty, they tell you how to mix those up, and they give you the approximate drying times. If you have any further questions, be sure to check out the forums at playthegamepodcast.com.